Jason Chaffetz with me this Monday morning. Jason, Trump has the momentum heading into November. Got that. I'm sure you've seen this. A judge has just threatened jail time if Trump continues to violate his gag order. This is another threat. I would have thought that helps Trump even more, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Go ahead. Throw the leading candidate for the presidency of the United States in jail for using the First Amendment, speaking out loud. Are you kidding me? They are so unhinged on the left. These people have totally lost perspective on what's important in the United States of America. The president has a right to speak, and he should be able to exercise his First Amendment right whenever he wants.
Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, he's calling out Biden's comments on the anti-Israel protests. Watch this, Jason. Roll it, please.
It was absolutely too late. It was 2 weeks after these pro-Hamas fanatics had taken over a lot of campuses and set up these little Gazas. He said, well, we shouldn't have anti-Semitism or hate speech in the abstract or Islamophobia. Where are the encampments, John, on campuses spreading Islamophobia? Why is Joe Biden so equivocal? Why does he have to draw a moral equivalence between thousands of students who are setting up these little Gazas all across America, engaged in hate speech against Jews, assaulting Jews, disobeying the law, and some fictional encampment that's spreading Islamophobia?
Does he have a point, Jason? I mean, the president seems to be playing both sides, doesn't he?
Yeah, this is the problem with Joe Biden. He is feckless. He is absolutely so bad. He does not take a principled approach. What these protesters are doing is the equivalent of terrorism. They want to scare the living daylights out of the universities. They want to scare. They're talking about the killing of Jews, for goodness sake. If it was the other way around, they would have never allowed this to happen. So the senator is right. Some places like Florida and Georgia have dealt with it properly. These other places are kowtowing to these protesters, to these punks. Why should they get any federal dollars? I don't want 1 cent of my taxpayer dollars going to fund these types of activities and these people and these universities. And the president of the United States is just sitting on the sideline going like this, trying to figure out where the wind's going, because his radical left-wing base is out there doing things that we never thought we'd see in America.
We have reports this morning that Rafah is about to be attacked. The citizens are being urged to evacuate. That's what we've been told. So the ground attack is imminent. When it happens, what happens to Joe Biden? What happens to the Democrat Party?
I wish the president of the United States would say, you know what? Give up your hostages. We have Americans that are hostages, and we're going to root out terrorism wherever it is. But he won't take that principled approach. That's what he should be saying. And to the people in the United States who think they want to tear down the United States and make a big issue, you can protest your government. That's as American as it gets. But you've got to do so peacefully. And when you break out that line, when you go over that line, when you threaten people, guess what? You're going to be arrested, you're going to be prosecuted, and you should pay the consequence.
Now, Senator Bernie Sanders, he says that Gaza is Biden's Vietnam. You agree with that?
No, there is no equivalence to that. These people came in, they killed. We know where it's coming from. We know where the terrorism is. There have been warnings. The Israelis have done more than anybody I've ever seen to tell people, get out of the way. We're going to root out terrorism. Look out. Here we come. They're very targeted, and they're telling people, get out of the way because we're going to get the terrorists killed. That's what they should be doing. That's how you solve this problem. They would all take over Israel and slaughter every Jew if they could. But fortunately, Israel can stand up for itself and play offense.
Jason Chaffetz on a Monday morning. Good stuff. Jason, thanks for being with us. We'll see you again real soon.